This case, as it played out almost like a film before my eyes every day in court and elsewhere, was about us as Indians, who we are, what our value systems are, the kind of mosaic that we have in our country, and the clash of those various Indias. So I write in my introduction that when Rakesh Sharma went to space, the Prime Minister at the time, Indira Gandhi, asked him, "So what does India look like from space?" And he said, "Sare jahan se acha." Beautiful answer, no doubt. This book is about what India looks like from the ground. And that's why I wrote it.
Aarushi by Avirook Sen, published by Penguin India in 2015. The characters and contents in this true crime book would be comedy gold, but for the two still unsolved murders, which makes it an indictment on one of the most shameful examples of mismanaged investigation and trial in the history of Indian jurisprudence. 13-year-old Aarushi Talwar and 42-year-old cook Yam Prasad Banjade, called Hemraj, were killed sometime between the night of 15th May and the morning of 16th May 2008, roughly between 10 p.m. on 15th to 6 a.m. on 16th May. Even after the passage of 16 years and one conviction, which was overturned in 2017, nobody knows who really killed them and why. Before I start the review of the book, it is important to relate to you the background of the case, which made it a zeitgeist moment for Indian families, general public, 24-hour news media, and the investigative agencies. Mr. and Mrs. Talwar, both successful dentists, live in a modest 4-bedroom apartment on the top floor of a military housing complex with their beloved daughter Aarushi and a housekeeper cook, Hemraj. Their apartment opens up to a terrace, hence it's a small and cozy unit. Their regular cleaning lady, someone who knew their apartment and their behavior patterns well, is on leave that week, and her replacement cleaner has been coming over for a day or two at 6 in the morning. They also retain a laundry woman who comes on specified days. There's a driver, there's a man Friday, but only Hemraj stays with them full-time. He has been with them for 7 months. He cooks, does groceries, and manages the apartment. On the evening of 15th May, when Aarushi's 14th birthday party is still a week away, her parents give her a camera as an early present. They eat dinner together, Hemraj cleans up after them, and everyone goes off to their respective rooms. Sometime during the night, by person or persons unknown, Aarushi is killed in her room, mere feet away from her parents' bedroom, with a head wound and stab wound to the neck as cause of death. Hemraj has a similar fate, but on the terrace upstairs. In the dead of night, no one hears a thing, no one sees a thing. Rarely has ever the layout of an apartment taken over a macabre life of its own as it did in this puzzle. A cursory look shows it's a modest 34-foot by 40-foot space, approximately 1360 square feet total area, minus the terrace, of course. There are stairs that lead to the apartment, and then from the apartment up to the terrace, which has a door of its own. The apartment itself has 3 entrance doors. The outer iron grille door opens in a small corridor with Hemraj's room on the right. The small corridor also has a jali ka darwaza, called mesh door in English, leading to a wooden door. These entrance doors lead to the kitchen and drawing room. Hemraj's room also leads to both, so he had direct access to both the interior and exterior area of the apartment. Right across the drawing room is the family's bedroom area. An empty spare bedroom on the left ends into the Talwars' bedroom, with them sharing a balcony with their daughter's room. Aarushi's room can be accessed by her bedroom door, as well as the washroom, which opens into the guest washroom next to the drawing room. Mrs. Talwar regularly locked Aarushi's room from outside. a fact that I frankly see as abnormal parental behavior. What would happen in case of emergency, a gas leakage or electric short circuit? How would the daughter get out? And if the door could be opened from inside, or her room could be accessed from guest washroom, then why lock it from the outside in the first place? I did not understand why this was done, and Avirook Sen does not provide any reasonable explanation for this. There is no further notice on whether she locked the guest washroom too, to limit Aarushi's access to the apartment further. Most importantly, did she lock up Hemraj's access to the main part of the apartment at night or not, so that he could not enter the personal area of the family at night? Sen neither asks her nor knows whether she locked up Hemraj's access or not, and it is clear that she did not. He does not ask any reasonable question that a normal person would ask, nor gets any explanation as to the Talwars' way of life and housekeeping. What is clear is that next morning, the new cleaner rings the doorbell at 6 a.m. waiting for Hemraj to let her in, but he doesn't, and Mrs. Talwar stands at the foot of the mesh door saying it's closed and tells her maybe Hemraj has gone to get milk, and the cleaner suggests to Mrs. Talwar to throw the key from the balcony so that she can open the iron grill door and unbolt the mesh door. Once the cleaner gets back up, she sees both the Talwars distraught. The cleaner sees the girl's dead body, and everyone assumes the killing is done by the missing Hemraj, even though no one says for sure why the cook would suddenly go nuts like that. The cleaner informs the housing unit's security guards, and the guards inform the police. Soon, relatives, friends, strangers, police and media people all descended on the apartment without any preservation of rooms by the Talwars or the police. Everyone ignores the slits of blood leading to the locked terrace till the next day when Hemraj's body is discovered on the terrace, just adding to the enduring mystery. Later, Mrs. Talwar did say that she felt unusually drowsy, suggesting someone may have drugged the family. And since Hemraj, the cook, was the only one who did not eat that night, maybe he put something in the food so that Aarushi could be killed without any disturbance, not realizing he would be next. Maybe the Talwars drugged both to make the killing easier. Hemraj still had his slippers on. Either the slippers were placed on him after the murder, or he was killed without any resistance, leading credence to the idea that he was drugged before being murdered. Of course, no blood test on anyone was done to look for it, so who knows? Now, there are several theories of murder that have been put forward in this case. The biggest theory that majority of the Indian public, media and police gleefully and rabidly believe is that Mr. and Mrs. Talwar killed their daughter over the issue of honor, because she was stepping out on them with either Hemraj or someone else. Under the honor killing option, the couple drugged their daughter and Hemraj, which would make killing both of them easy and noise-free. They staged everything, right down to giving the camera as present 1 week before the birthday, because then the pictures which Aarushi took that night with her parents could confirm that they were happy just hours before the murder. They also took advantage of the new cleaner by creating a big show of discovering the mesh door locked from outside when it could be easily manipulated by accessing Hemraj's room. They wanted to throw suspicion at the missing cook, whom they had placed on the terrace, to dispose of his body later on, but the ensuing media circus and police fish market at their home disrupted their plan. Of course, a reasonably toxic home environment would precede any such murderous intention and action, and Talwars had none of that. No proof of their involvement was ever discovered, despite their less than convincing conviction in the trial court. This motive was first mouthed by the Inspector General of Police in the widely attended and watched live press conference.
16 तारीख में सुबह पुलिस को खबर दी गई कि श्रुति का कत्ल हुआ है।
First of all, he got the name wrong. He kept calling Aarushi Shruti.
सर्वेंट हेमराज की हत्या पहले की गई है, उसके बाद श्रुति की हत्या की गई है, आरुषि की, sorry.
He also said Aarushi was having an affair with Hemraj to get back at her debauched father.
इसको डॉक्टर राजेश बिल्कुल बर्दाश्त नहीं करते थे, भले उनका अपना करैक्टर भी उतना ही खराब था। उस समय उन्होंने कुछ ऑब्जेक्शनेबल हालत में, ऑब्जेक्शनेबल हालत का मतलब ये नहीं कि वो कंप्रोमाइजिंग पोजीशन में ही थे, लेकिन उन्होंने ऐसी हालत में देखा उनको जिसमें उनको अच्छा नहीं लगा।
The father saw them together and in a fit of rage killed them both.
डॉक्टर राजेश को नाम तो मैं ले रहा हूँ।
The author of this book, Avirook Sen, assumes that simply because Talwars were educated, well-traveled, liberal professionals, and since Aarushi was conceived after 5 years of trying, that they could not have possibly done an honor killing. As if honor killing is something that only brutes from rural, semi-literate, lower caste people can do. Someone should show Sen demographics and statistics on killings amongst South Asians living in India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, whether they are Sikh, Hindu, or Muslim, and in South Asians settled in other countries around the world. And Sen would find out that Talwars actually fit the profile remarkably well. The thing is, if Aarushi and Hemraj wanted to have an affair, they would have had plenty of time during the afternoon hours when Aarushi was left alone and unattended in the apartment, with both parents absent for work, which was the case even on the afternoon of 15th. Why would they wait for night time when her parents were 4 feet away from them in the next bedroom? Most importantly, why would a 13-year-old elite girl with plenty of good-looking age-appropriate options from her school betray her parents' trust with the middle-aged, poor, humble, and dull cook? The investigators circumvented the class issue by alleging without proof that Mr. Talwar was having an affair with her best friend's mother and was generally debauched, so Aarushi wanted to teach the parents a lesson by hooking up with the cook. Well, she had no shortage of boys her own age whom she was constantly in touch with. What's more, Hemraj had worked without incident with another family for 15 years. That family had 2 girls of their own. He had a good reputation. Aarushi was not a problem child. Talwar household did not have a marital or filial discord, at least none that came to light to be proven in a court of law. There were no rumors of child sexual abuse either. Columnist Shobha laid out the ambivalence that people felt towards the case.
A young family finds a teenage daughter dead. If there's miscarriage of justice, there's tragedy number 1. If there is none and they are guilty, it's a double whammy and it's a double tragedy. Whichever way you look at it, it's a case that's full of drama.
And Mr. and Mrs. Talwar had this to say.
How do you tolerate somebody saying things to you which have no meaning, which are not substantiated, which have no evidence, yet they go on saying these things to you? And the most important thing that I feel here is, where is the justice for my child? What happened to that?
There is someone out there, and I just hope that person's caught and justice is done.
No one can be or should be convicted on the basis of mere conjecture and tampered evidence, and that is exactly what happened here. Talwars were arrested, convicted, and then set free on appeal. The question remains, who killed Aarushi and Hemraj in the dead of night 16 years ago?
सदा जीवे नगम धीरे सदा जीवे सदा जीवे